Roig Rage, oh. Roig Rage, oh. None of these definitions are really anything like the actual word, or well, what the word is trying to get across in a therapeutic or in a sober way. Acceptance, the action of consenting to receive or undertake something offered. That's not it. The action or process of being received as adequate or suitable, typically to be admitted into a group. That's not it. Agreement with or belief in an idea, opinion, or explanation. I mean, it has a
Tuna?
definition of willingness to tolerate a difficult or unpleasant situation. I mean, that's the closest damn thing to it, but that's it's way down on the list there. Now, if I go to, before this plane crashes into the back of my head, if I go to the 12 steps, right? 12 steps. This is how I know it. I used to know it by heart. Damn it. Now I don't. I probably do. I'm just a little nervous. It's been a second since
I don't have all day.
I've done one of these. The 12 steps. There we go. Okay. Now, I know we're talking about acceptance here. Okay, we admitted we were powerless over alcohol, that our lives had become unmanageable.
Hey, man, that's some good shit.
Came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. Acceptance would be we're accepting the fact that we're powerless over alcohol. So if we switched out the alcohol and put in whatever situation I'm in or person, like I'm powerless over an individual, I have to accept the fact that this individual will continue to treat me like X, Y, and Z. And I just have to accept that fact. Wow, there's several planes trying to land in my bedroom this afternoon. I'm so glad they changed that flight pattern.
That's a bold-faced lie.
Aren't we all? Or not accept that this individual is treating me like a present tense thing, that I was treated in such a way. And there's no way I can enact vengeance, and I just kind of have to wait around to see if karma can do its thing to that individual.
Or individuals.
I'd rather say person, but I'm getting stuck to this individual thing. Because I can't change what happened. So you accept the fact that you can't change what happened. No matter how many times you run it through your brain, no matter how many ways you think you can come at it from a different way and maybe solve it from this side and get the sort of closure that you need. I think that's what it is, right? It's acceptance is, I think that's a helicopter now. Did we install a pad?
That's what females do.
Because I'll tell you, with the HOA fucking board that I have, there's no fucking telling what I'll wake up and suddenly it'll just appear with an assessment after just raising the HOA fees by almost 50%.
That's bullshit.
All right. I know I'm all over the place here. But I have an HOA board that I gave up my position in a protest. It's kind of stupid, but because I should have stayed on the board to try to prevent these kinds of things from happening.
Hallelujah.
You know, where What are these fucking people thinking that, oh, okay, we raised everybody's HOA fees, and now let's plant 16 to 20 trees around the property for an excess amount of $10, $12, $15,000, whatever the case may be. Let's throw that on top of things. Oh, and let's also collect some money to help repair someone's apartment, someone who has absolutely no respect for anyone here, the building, anything. That we're supposed to... I don't even know, to be perfectly honest, what the hell's going on with that. Because I went away for just a couple days and came back, and it's pandemonium! Nothing makes sense to me. The trees look all right, I must admit.
Oh, dear you, sir.
But how the fuck are you going to justify the cost when we just raised our HOA fees? I know it's a boring thing to talk about, but I'm in a boring age. 43. These are the things. But I can't get severely pissed off every time something like this happens. So it's a practice. Acceptance is a practice.
Practice like martial arts.
Doesn't mean you're going along with something, but it means that you can at least live without the anger or whatever that arises from these kinds of situations.
It's not possible.
Now, I don't know how to accept things. How do you go? You just need to accept it. And it's like, are there steps? Are there utensils I can use? Is there a boat going down my street? Dang. I'm trying to squeeze one in while the wife's away. Squeeze one in about acceptance. Now, I'm not saying that when I got home and saw
all kinds of buffoonery,
10 workers digging up my entire property and some fat motherfuckers sitting down kind of directing it all, I'm not gonna say that I didn't fucking lose my shit
and by fat I mean fat,
and fucking go off on this motherfucker. I'm not saying that. I should be saying that because that's exactly what I did.
It's true, I yelled at the man.
I have a reputation for being a hothead, but it's not that I'm a hothead. It's that I respond to a situation, depending on the situation, appropriately. And sometimes you can't be a little fucking pussy and fucking, try to smile your way around things and shit. Sometimes somebody's got to know that somebody's going to bite. That's all. You need your bad cops. In an HOA situation, maybe not on a nationwide situation. But what I am finding out is that no matter what my perception or perspective is on any given situation that may arise, there truly is a equal...
You said truly, man. How dare you ban him?
I'm not going to say opposite, but a different perspective or perception that I should consider. And
what are you getting on about?
I know I'm fairly open-minded, but I didn't realize how narrow-minded I was in considering all, not outcomes, considering all perspectives. That's it. I know I have to keep saying it over and over again. But yeah, I wish when a situation came up, like a receipt kind of like etched up in my brain, and I could pull it out and I could read it and go, okay, so this person thinks this and that, instead of having to like go through whatever it is to go through to reach these perspectives and whatnot.
You mean conclusions?
Am I making sense?
I mean, kind of.
I'm trying to figure it out with you because I'm still trying to figure out what it takes to accept things. Now, I could have accepted that
inhale again.
My whole, property was being dug up on, and nobody let us know what was up, and blah, 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 in time, and this happened too fast, and I could have accepted it all and just... See, does acceptance mean rolling over? Because I most certainly don't possess that ability. But I do know that I can humble myself. I do know that I can
Say humble a lot.
reconsider things. I got a lot going for me in terms of acceptance. But like
Here comes some white-ass letters.
this HOA fiasco, something else crept or arrived when I got back in from out of town. And that was, I posted in Reddit about a horror movie that I saw as a kid. Don't remember the name of it, don't know who's in it. All I remembered were 2 scenes. And I have been asking about and searching for 30 years.
Bullshit!
I know I sound hyperbolic. I swear to God, it's been 30 years. Whenever the occasion arised. Oh, conjugate, my man. Conjugate. Find the gate and open it up and conjugate. So here are the 2 scenes. One involved a girl. Who I think was carrying her school books. But it was in like a kind of park. And next to her is what seemed like a stone kind of castle that, some parks have, where you can go up and kind of look out over the park and that kind of thing.
Yeah, we get it, Trav.
And what happened was she's walking alongside of it, cameras in front of her, pulling back as she's walking. And the shot cuts to a low angle showing the top of this like stone castle and a brick being shown and thrown down onto her, killing her. And I think it like hit her mouth. It wasn't gruesome. It wasn't gory. It was really effective because probably it wasn't. I know people like to say that. The less gore, the more effective. But sometimes, yeah, it's true, of course. And
did my podcast spring a leak?
And I think she was just on the ground dead. And that's all that I remember from that scene.
Well done.
Cut to another scene where what looks like a dorm room. It was kind of muted colors. It's kind of yellowish, orangish, brownish kind of colors. This film looked to be like really desaturated. There was this boy who had what looked like a bedspread shoved into his mouth down his throat, and that's how he was killed. Like, these people walked in and saw, oh,
great acting, Trav.
And he's on the bed with this bedspread like flowing out of his mouth and down his neck. Not gruesome, not bloody or anything, which is odd. You would think so, because this would have been around the 80s. I must have been somewhere between like 6 and 8, somewhere in there. And I could be off a little. I don't know. I'm trying to think of friends' kids when they're like 5.
Anybody hearing crickets?
How big they are, how much they retain.
Like the contractor.
From whatever's going on. And I think somewhere around there. Not further than the 90s, and I don't think any lower, like into the 70s or so. Excuse me, just revving me rota. So I described these 2 scenes and thanked everyone in this post that I put in the subreddit Tip of My Tongue, because the horror subreddit didn't help, because they never help, because they're fucking assholes. And some others just were no help. But Tip of My Tongue came out
Swinging
in hordes.
In droves.
I think it's about like 500 upvotes right now and about 300 comments. Now I have been
Bragging?
for the last day and a half answering each comment and checking out each lead that these really awesome people have put forth. A lot of people took a lot of time to write what they wrote to me. It's really unbelievable. And there's still things I need to check. There's still some lists. It's just so much. It's a lot of horror to look at. Really fucking cool movies that I've never seen. I've been turned on to. But, Travis, what does this have anything to do with acceptance? Well, I've accepted the fact that I may never know what this is. My wife's convinced that it's in my brain. It's a dream of some sort. But I'm like, I don't remember any dreams the way I remember these two scenes. Travis, did you just sniff your nose and then swallow what came from it? I did. So I am seemingly having to accept the fact that I may never know what movie that was or why I have these two scenes in my head and why I have them the way that I have them in my head, and that I'm so sure, and it's extremely detailed in my mind. I don't know if it comes out that way. I try my best to explain what the colors look like, if there are other people around, what colors as in what the film actually looks like itself, or what kind of clothes they're wearing, season, anything. But, I mean, I can remember that the girl who's walking, I can remember it was kind of darkish, cloudyish. In the sky. I can kind of remember that.
Good for you.
You know, pretty well.
I can't remember anything.
And it was a darker stoned kind of castle or construct, whatnot. But I have basically, we can say 500 people's been doing some due diligence for me, and we have come up with Bupkis. I don't know how I feel about that word, but I digress. So it's a nagging thing. It's a nagging thing, right? And acceptance is supposed to cut the cord on that nag. I just don't know if I'm there yet. And it really stems from, and I've spoken about this before, but
oh, have you?
I was unceremoniously banned from a studio that I used to work at in a variety of capacities. And
that's what's on my resume still.
I did everything I possibly could in order to get back into their good graces, to bring closure to what happened, to maybe get some second chances going.
Sadly, no.
See if there's maybe a future that I can come back and continue to make money.
Again, no.
And do the kind of work that I do.
You may leave.
That came with a bunch of people who pretty much didn't really stick up for me or anything, and I've been kind of in this sort of what's that place called? Limbo. Not the fun one.
Aww.
But I've been in sort of this limbo because I had written many emails and whatnot, and humbled myself to them, asking them, what could I do? Is there anything that I can do? Is there anything you could teach me to do? Is there anything, I'll come in and do the most menial of labor or whatever, in my business. That would probably be like man 1, cop 2,
Freeze.
crowd work, like stuff like that. And I do that. I'll do that for however many. I don't care. I'll jump the hoops for you. But they never got back to me once, and I probably sent at least 5 letters by this point, or whatever, because I don't want to be some creep and just show up, 5 letters and not one word back to me. These were people that were like, I mean, I'd see them more than I saw my own family for a few years. And I sacrificed many a thing to do their bidding.
That evil bidding.
And after all this time,
Time.
they don't even have the respect for me to, like, just go, nah, we're not interested. Take care. That's all. But I didn't get that. And that's a hard pill to swallow.
Take it. Take the pill. Swallow it.
And, they're not entitled to respond to any of my correspondence. Any of the people involved aren't entitled to, or they didn't have to. They weren't in it. Just because I was being wronged, and if I was in their position, seeing one of their friends, coworkers, or whatever going through something, I would have stood up. Yeah, I know it's easy to say, but anyone who knows me knows that I would have stood up.
Because I'm a hothead, right?
And nobody did. And nobody had to, right? So I can't fault them, right?
Say right again. Go ahead.
I can't hold on to them in my head and just fester, just fucking anger and like, what the fuck? I hope this fucking happens to them. I hope it happens to their family. I hope it happens to their fucking home. I hope it happens to their fucking car. Whatever.
Don't forget their children.
I can't do that.
Poor form. Poor form.
And there were people who treated me pretty shitty during that time when I was trying to really humble myself the best I could at the time. And really try to, make this not a shit situation, right? There are people who made fun of me, of the way that I went around doing things.
We want their heads.
It's hard not to carry the resentments, the angers, that kind of shit.
Clearly it's still in you.
You stay on something long enough, you tend to pick up some enemies along the way. And if you haven't, you're probably a shill. So I was just really hurt by the whole thing. I was hurt by the people who made fun of me. I was hurt by the people who didn't do anything. And I was hurt by
your ego?
the studio.
Oh.
And another one joined in too. Another studio decided to
shit on me.
Decided to take me down a peg or two and not hire me anymore. And it's
some bullshit.
And for seemingly no reason.
You are an asshole, Trav.
And I have to work with people who work for these studios and other studios and shit.
And it frightens me. It frightens me.
It's very, very messy and odd. But I know I'm on the right side of history. It's just really difficult to find the acceptance and to know how to do that. How do I carve
let it go
these people's names out of my brain and squash them and bury them and never
metaphorically, of course,
see them in my mind's eye again. It's also very interesting when some of these people are religious people.
Praise Jesus!
And religious people,
they even have a charity,
I believe, are supposed to practice such things as forgiveness.
Oh, that's a big one.
And understanding.
Oh, that's even bigger.
Humility. And all of these people have sort of exhibited the opposite of that with just arrogance, which is very odd. I'm not going to say religion breeds the arrogance. It's the people who adapted the religions who are already arrogant people. And, all the power to them. I have lived long enough now where I've seen some karma dispensed, and I gotta say, I kind of revel in it. Does that make me a bad person? I kind of revel. I like a good revel. Oh, I like a good revel. Give me them revel.
A revel without a clue.
And, I'll pray on that. Try to get that bone lifted from my body. But it's been comforting to see or to witness Witness is a good religious word.
It's a fine word.
Some people kind of get their asses handed to them in some large ways and some small. So I should trust in that. But is that fucked up? Like, my acceptance is trusting in karma that these people will pay for their actions? It's all so confusing. When it comes to people, it seems the closer I look at some of these people who I feel have wronged me, they're not really living the best side of life anyway, you know? It's just really me not getting my way that probably irks me the most, right?
Hallelujah!
I don't know. Some of that not feeling heard, you know, that's a hard one. But yeah, I don't have any answers at this point. I just knew I wanted to do a Roig rage, and I wanted to slap the title of acceptance on it.
Oh, well, good for you.
And I wanted to start at a micro level, which was basically the foliage, the felonious foliage that has been rooted on my property. And then the expanse of a 30-year search for this horror film, that there are people that are like, I know I've seen that. I'm like, I know I've seen that. But let's get there. We've been using Chat GPT. Yeah, I've been wanting to stay away from this shit. I'm gonna tell you. Because I don't know. But no, people have been putting in, plugging in some keywords and such, and plugging in my descriptions and whatnot, and it's regurgitated some suggestions, whatever, of films, whatnot. It's kind of cool. Kind of cool that it did that. But kind of cool that it did that. Whew. So, I will say I've become a little bit chiller.
Your wife ain't say that.
Like when I came home, I yelled at the contractor. Someone needed to.
Hothead!
But I could have done a lot more damage in terms of, involving the whole building, group chats, yelling at the president, all this stuff or whatever. But you know what? I avoided all that shit. And maybe that comes with the fact that I've learned to accept things around here to that certain extent, where I would have fired off some fucking...
Don't say profanities, because you did.
Some profanities and whatnot, but that's gonna do no good. That's gonna do no good.
That's gonna do no good.
So I guess I really did kind of accept the fact that, okay, this is just happening, and we'll pay for it when we pay for it, or whatever the fuck else, and whatever. Or we won't, and I'll tell them to try to sue me. But then I'll show the police where they hide all of their... No, I wouldn't. I'd never sell anybody out. Kinda. I guess that's it too, right? Acceptance is not kind of striking back either. Like, trying to get somebody else in trouble, or just accepting, okay, this person acted like an idiot, this affects me in this way.
Say like again.
It's already done.
Good job.
Yeah, so maybe that's that, and maybe this whole Reddit thing with this whole horror film thing, I mean, like I said, they're still kind of coming in. I'm just checking my phone. The comments are, still coming in, kind of repeating themselves. I've already checked all of those flicks.
What, do you think you're better than me?
But maybe just having done this will finally, I'll finally accept the fact that I will never know where these memories come from, why they're there, how they got there, and that be that. And And when it comes to these studios and these people and who I feel has done me wrong or is doing me wrong or, whatever.
It's a matter of honor, you see.
I'm sure they don't think about me as much as I think about them.
And how?
Which is a horrible fucking thing to admit.
Tragic.
It's very humiliating.
Yeah.
Pero maybe I could take this HOA thing and this horror thing and gang up on the being banned and being basically straight up ignored.
Yo, damn.
By people who meant so much to me
I mean, did they really, dude? Be honest with yourself.
at a certain point in my life.
All right.
And there comes a certain strength with it, I think.
Oh, does it? Does it come with the certain
With the acceptance,
strength?
like, oh, you don't have that power over me anymore. Of having done it, of having done something to me that I, first of all, never experienced.
It's a violation.
I've never been fired or banned. Why did I kind of went Joker. I've never been fired, or banned. Batman. I just wish it wasn't these fucking people. And the lady that has no ass. She's got an envelope for an ass. Or an envelope. It's an envelope.
Look at Roig raging.
She's got an envelope ass. She has to live with that shit. That's a fate worse than death. So, maybe all the retribution that I wanted to enact has already happened to a number of these people. And maybe it happened to them before this even happened between us.
Check out the big brain on track.
That, karma was already there, fucking with them. And this was just a display of them trying to force their will upon others. And they're already in hell. I think that's maybe it. Do you need to believe that certain people are in hell in order to accept the situation? Maybe. Because apparently there's no rules and there's no instructional guide.
Oh, what?
A handbook. A fucking flyer. A pamphlet. Nothing. Just these concepts. Whatever. Listen. Oh. I totally forgot how the tree thing turned out. The acceptance of the tree thing and the HOA increase and whatnot. I totally forgot to tell you that I ended up having a pool day with a good deal of the building. And we haven't had one of those in forever. So I think I passed. I mean, the fat man had it coming. And but if that's all that was, and he ended up he turned out to be a really upstanding dude. But never before would that have occurred with the way that I approached such volatile situations. But I will find a place, because there is a place in this life for acceptance without vengeance. I think. I think we just did good, you and I. Right? The missus left to do her hair, and I was like, maybe I should
Throw away my whole career.
grab this over here, pull it towards me, push a couple buttons, name a couple things, and here we are. I like this. I like chatting. Oh. Now the word chat's gonna be fucking usurped by those 3 little letters, huh? Forever. Well, the 2 little letters, the main ones, the AI ones. Then you got the GPTs, the SWVs,
SWU
R&B group from the 90s.
SSW.
I'm powering down, you see. I'm powering down. I think in a day or two I'm going to get paid to actually make that voice. So, hey kids, you can grow up to be anything you want. Here, let's do something right quick before I shut this down. I, Travis, do hereby accept that they planted the trees and they're fixing an apartment right after they raised your HOA fees about 50%. They decided to add an assessment. I accept whatever all that was. I accept it. Okay. Travis, do you hereby accept the fact that you will never, ever find out what those memories are? I accept the fact that I will never, ever find out what those memories are. And Travis? Do you accept the fact that you will have to live with the fact that there are people who don't like you and will never give you the closure you need? I do accept the fact that there are these people in situations that will not give me the closure that I need. That's pretty good. It was all right. It was a moment's notice, man.
Improv.
All right. Thank you for listening.
Roig Rage, oh. Roig Rage.